All right, we are recording now, so you have your quorum and you can begin your meeting.
All right, I think Michael's gonna have me lead it because I think he's got. Okay, so let's see here. Let me just pull it up. All right, so I guess I'm calling to order the. Hang a minute, board book. Here we go. The Safety and Security Committee meeting. It is 8:34 a.m. on March 11th, and we have a quorum. First order of business is, I guess, quick opening remarks. The goals of the committee are to promote the safety and security of our district, as well as to enhance transparency and communication with the Weston community. And our next order of business is approval of the minutes. So from the February 11th meeting. If there's no questions, move that the Safety and Security Committee approve the minutes from the February 11th, 2025 meeting.
I offer a second and I vote in favor.
All right. Okay, so we are good to move on from that. Next order of business is discussion of safety and security topics. And it looks like our first item is the meet the director of security, Jim. And sorry, I'm kind of, Michael sent me over a document on what to highlight. So Jim, if you would, I know that you and Michael talk on a more consistent basis. So if you want to.
Last month was my, you guys already know me. I've already introduced myself to this committee. He just wanted to highlight my meet the director events coming up, which is.
Jim, hang on one second. Your audio is it just me or is?
No, it's bad.
Yeah, he sounds like he's underwater again. It was fine before, and now it's not working again.
All right, let me switch the microphone.
There you go.
Okay.
That's perfect.
Yeah, so the first meet the director is this Thursday from 7 to 8:30. I'm trying to bring up my calendar. It is 7 to 8:30, Weston Middle School in the library. Open to the public, and it just gives the public an opportunity to put a face to the name, introduce myself, ask any questions that I can answer regarding security procedures in our district, what my vision is for the district. And then the second one is 9:30 in the morning at WIS on March 26th, 9:30 to 11 in the cafeteria after the PTO meeting. So that's meet the director. It's a community forum. You know, it's provide transparency, build trust in the community so they can get to know me. And like I said, answer any questions.
If I can add, I'll just say it. It's not for the Board of Ed. It's for the community. And so while I think that people on this subcommittee, it's appropriate if they want to go as, you know, if they're on the subcommittee, I don't think it's appropriate for the entire board to go, because this is the one chance where there can be a dialogue, an actual dialogue at these meetings with the public. It's not a presentation. I just hope that everyone realizes that. It's really a time where the public can speak to Jim and Jim can speak back, and it's supposed to be a nice conversation, if you will, with people from this committee, if they choose supporting it. I will be there sort of in the, you know, I'm almost reluctant. I don't want to hang around because I want people to feel comfortable talking to him.
Yeah, so just some background. I've been out to all the schools. I met with the safety teams. I've been to a couple of the drills they've had. So I've already had the opportunity to kind of meet and greet with the faculty and staff and kind of get the climate of the district. So this is an opportunity for community members to just to show up and have a chat with me, really. Very kind of informal. I'm not doing a PowerPoint presentation or anything like that. It's just a very simple meet and greet, get to know me, and that's it. But to Lisa's point, happy to meet with whomever, but these events that we have scheduled on the calendar are specifically for the community. Moms, dads, parents, guardians, whomever.
All right, so yeah, so once again, if anyone listens to this afterwards, it's an opportunity for anybody in the community to come meet directly with you, Jim. Members of this subcommittee will be in attendance, but it's really the intent here is for the community to be able to have a dialogue with you, ask questions, and not be bound by the limitations of a regular Board of Ed meeting where the dialogue piece is significantly restricted by rules. So this is there's two opportunities. Anybody in the community who wants to have a conversation, an interactive conversation, this is your first two of what hopefully will be more in the future, but these are the first two on this topic.
Absolutely. And, you know, just my 25 years in law enforcement, our number one focus was on community building, community trust, creating partnerships. So that's my mindset going into this.
Will Captain Michelli be there as well?
So you
To join.
back-
So did you say something?
Oh, I did. I must got cut off. Sorry. Yeah, happy to join in anytime I can.
You
Okay.
could be my backup.
Perfect. I like it.
Everyone loves Joe. Everyone loves Weston PD. So
If
Yeah, so-
everyone's comfortable, I'm gonna send an email out to the entire board, just kind of reminding them that that's the framework for this. Because I don't want them to, you know, come expecting something that is not really for them.
And Lisa, are you gonna remind the community on Wednesday about the event?
Yes.
Yep.
Jody, make a note.
Sorry, I should have redirected that to the person who does the work.
No, it's fine. We actually had that. Michael had said that. I had it in my notes to reminding
that's-
them, we'll remind, and to be clear about the PTO. This is the meeting, like they have a meeting, but then you're kind of the guest star, Jim. But other members of the community, security knows, like if people come from the community because it's better for them, they're certainly not going to be turned away.
all right, excellent. So Lisa will have a reminder sent out to the community. This is the first one. There'll be another one next week. And we would invite everybody from the public to come. It's something that we have heard a lot. People would like to have these more interactive conversations. So this is your opportunity. All right. So our next item on the agenda is the physical security and threat prevention. So Jim, if you would like to give an update on the portable alert, I think it's a quick alert system rollout.
Yes, it's the emergency fobs that integrate with the Alerta system. The order's been placed for the remainder of the district. They're set to come in, I believe. I think Dan said like the first week of April. The goal is to issue, assign, and train all faculty and staff on the fobs and one of the goals is to have everybody in the district assigned one by the end of April. It is a process. The IT guys are great with it. They're going to go to each school individually. They have to assign, the serial number, the fob, and the individual teacher, the fob. So there is some legwork to be done on the back end of it. But Dan and his team are going to be doing that as soon as they come in. And he's expecting them, I think he said the first week of April, and then he's going to get right on it.
Okay. So you expect that the system to be fully rolled out by the end of April?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay.
That also includes, we created a handful for each school for our subs. And my security staff are going to be in charge of assigning those on a day-to-day basis for any sub that's in the building. So we're completely layered. Everyone will have one.
Okay, excellent. And then, this might be a kind of a silly question, but during the summer, whatever the skeleton staff is the same system in place during the summer for summer programs, as it would be for the regular school year?
Yes, once you get that assigned to you, it's like your ID card. It stays with you, stays clipped right on your little ID badge. And that's it. And when you retire, you turn it back in.
Lisa,
what's the proto-
Lisa
what's-
doesn't come back like brand new.
What's the protocol if someone loses?
That is not. I don't know. That's maybe a Lisa question or a Julie question.
Extreme displeasure, I don't know if we would charge people, we have to look into that. You know, if something happens to a piece of equipment people use, if it's an accident, you know. You just make a note and take it offline. I know we can disconnect it, so it can't be used.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
just like an ID card. So if somebody loses it, Dan can deactivate it with, you know, a quick stroke of his keyboard, and then it's just dead. And he has ordered some extra ones, you know, just to have.
And Jim, just out of curiosity, what happens? So Lisa has hers, she's based out of central office. She goes into WIS. It knows where the fob is rather than, so it's assigned to a person, but it knows that that person who might be in central office, generally speaking, is now physically in WIS or at WIS.
So it's Wi-Fi technology. Wherever that fob is, whatever school it's in, it picks up on that Wi-Fi network. And the light turns blue that is connected to that network. So if she hits it, if she's in WIS, it'll activate in WIS. That's how the layers work. We tested them, like I said in the last month's meeting, we had a very successful test with Captain Michelli and the dispatch center. Everything is working.
Excellent. All right. So that sounds good. And I guess we will have an update to confirm the rollout's complete, potentially in our April meeting. All right. So the next item also for you, Jim, is the topic of fire and crisis drills.
Yeah, so when I spoke to Mike, he wanted me to go into a little depth of, so everyone has an understanding of what these drills are, and why we do them. Basically, as we all know, after Sandy Hook happened, Connecticut really stepped up their mandates on crisis drills. The fire drills we've been doing forever. I mean, that goes back to, I believe, the 1960s. And after Sandy Hook and actually in 1999 is really when it started. The historical background started in Columbine for crisis drills. And then it was up to it took Sandy Hook occurring, unfortunately, to really have the state step in and mandate these crisis drills. So essentially what they are you have a lockdown drill, secure school, evacuation, shelter in place. And broken down, a lockdown drill is an immediate threat in the building where exterior doors are locked, interior classroom doors are all locked, and students, faculty are in their rooms, quiet with the lights off, shades drawn, and waiting for orders from the incident commander, which typically the way we train is the principal or their designee. Shelter in place drill is hazardous materials released in the school. Doors are locked and shut. It could be an environmental issue in the school. The HVAC system is letting out a smell or something. That shelter in place is all the kids, regardless if the bell rings or not, they stay in their classroom until given the all clear. Secure school or stay put drill is all the kids, wherever they are in the class or the gym or wherever, they are to stay there. And just to give an example, that would be, there's a medical issue in the nurse's office, fire and ambulance workers are coming in with a stretcher. We don't want hundreds of kids in the hallway during that time period, for two reasons: traffic and social emotional impact, and to keep the medical issue private. So that was that would be a secure school or stay put. Covered shelter in place. Of course, evacuation is evacuation. It looks very similar to a fire drill. You evacuate the facility. If evacuation leads to a higher level, if there's an issue where they can't evacuate according to their fire drill, they would then be evacuated to the next closest rendezvous point. And my understanding, I wasn't here, but when they had the swatting incident, they evacuated the high school to the middle school. So that's basically an evacuation drill. A reverse evacuation drill, there's an incident outside, there's a threat outside, and you have a gym class going on the field, then they come back in. But there is, the reason we do them is so that teachers and students build muscle memory. So if there is a crisis, they know what to do. It's basically the same framework as a fire drill that we've been doing, since the beginning of time, and we've just added certain layers to it to make it incident specific. It's important that, and they are doing this, that parents are notified prior to a drill. The state mandate is 3 days before the drill. The principal sends out a notice that a drill is going to occur and what type of drill occurs. In the effort of transparency, I have just started talking to the principals about really having a conversation with the kids, and so that they understand the different levels. The why behind we do what we do, whether it's a lockdown drill, why are we doing that? That's pretty cut and dry. There's a threat. But secure school, shelter in place, in my experience, people kind of get confused. Why are we doing shelter in place? Because they are very similar, the dynamic of the drill. So if the kids understand the shelter in place is, maybe the science lab has a gas leak, or secure school, oh, there's a medical issue. It alleviates the anxiety and stress of the kids if they understand what the drill is about. So I'm really kind of pushing that, so that there's full transparency, not only for, especially the high school level, like they get it. And the faculty, they understand why the different levels of drills, why we do what we do, but also for the parents to understand. And I plan on speaking about that. I have found in my experience, a lot of parents just think crisis drill and they always think the worst. And most of the time, thankfully, it's just the little things, day-to-day operations, a medical call or whatever is why we are activating a crisis drill. Did I cover everything?
Can I ask a question? When there is, a real crisis, whatever that might be, at what point are parents made aware of? I mean, at what level does something occur that the community becomes aware?
That is that's a good question. So just an example, we had a medical call at the school, the high school the other day. No reason, for privacy reasons to let parents know that an ambulance showed up at school, because that's just going to create more questions. And to be blunt, it's, if a kid has a medical issue, it's not the community's business. It's between that family and the individual. If there's a crisis drill that raises to the level of a lockdown or suspicious person on campus, that communication would come from Lisa or the super to let the parents know this is what we had going on today. And it's done as soon as the all clear is given. I mean, that's the way it should be done. So I don't know if does that answer your question? It's very,
Well,
it's very incident specific. It's a judgment, really.
Yeah. I mean, I think the whole idea is to keep people away, not draw people to the campus.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
Yes.
every correspondent with the parents should include that. If there is an incident, they need to stay away and not use their cell phones, because that's gonna degrade our network.
Yeah.
And those plans are in place. But what we try and do is, the more communication we send out every time we have a drill or an actual incident, I think the trust increases with the parents that we are, you know, on board with notifying them everything that happens in the district when it happens, versus 5 o'clock in the afternoon after the fact, when, you know, the rumors start to go. So you want to always control the narrative. So if there's an incident, we should be sending something out as soon as that incident is under control.
And when you're excuse me, when you speak to the students, will one of the topics be, don't pull your phones out and call your parents?
Well, I think Lisa,
Without thinking about it, because we've had that
can
situation.
help me with that. I think the policy is, the district policy is no phones.
Yeah,
Not at the high
that's-
school. It's
yeah, not
trickier.
at the high school.
Right.
But we have to talk through that. I'm a firm believer that when students know, it cuts down on things. You know, if they can understand, we'll
Yeah.
have to talk with the high school administration about that. And especially if they're in class, then you can control them. The teacher needs to say, please do not get your phone out of the pouch or whatever and call your parents, because frankly, that's where the problem is. I had parents saying, you know, the elementary school teachers didn't know quick enough. Well, I'm never going to be able to stop the high school kids whose parents work at the elementary school texting them in a matter of seconds. I mean, the minute you deviate from focusing on the real issue, we're compromising our safety. I can't be worried about that. Jim can't be worried about that. The teachers can't be. Sometimes I'm hoping, because Jim's here, a deep breath. Okay, deep breath. Minute an ambulance comes. I mean, it's gotten better, but remember, Jody, somebody's calling here. Why is there an ambulance? Oh my goodness, please, you know, it's very challenging. I think
Yeah,
as the time goes on, though, people get calmer with knowing that Jim is at the helm, and, you know, they feel a higher level of security. Oh, no pun intended.
Yeah, I think, Steve, to just to piggyback off that, is the more communication we have, the better. To a point, like I said earlier about medical calls, but I don't know, that's challenging to be able to control the high school kids with their phones. That's challenging in any district. But the quicker we can communicate to the parents to control that narrative, the better the end result's going to be.
Yeah, that's why I think these community events that we're going to be holding the next couple of weeks are important, because, you know, there's one lane in and one lane out, and, you know, Weston is like a 2-lane community. So, you know, parents start rushing the schools. It's just going to impede your work and the police
Yes,
department's
absolutely.
work. Thanks. Thank you.
Jim, one of the things I think would be helpful too, during the community forum, especially if Joe is there, is just sort of an overview as well of the concept of how quickly we can have the Weston Police Department at any one of the schools, because that's been a area of that we've focused on a lot, being on School Road. The police, you know, School Road is arguably anchored by the police department. So the response time is an area too that we have as a community. Let the community know that the schools, as the chief, chief would say, is his number one focus. So it would be helpful, I think, too, and if it comes up, or if, you know, an area you want to cover would be response time. If there's, you know, some data that you can share with the community on when drills occur. Does the Weston Police Department show up for all the drills, some of the drills, and from a perspective of what is their response time? I think that would be an area that the community would love to hear a little bit more about as well.
Sure. Listen, I've assessed and evaluated over the last 5 weeks, and Weston you guys benefit from having a strong foundation of security measures in place already, with the 2 SROs and the roving Milo safety officer. And that's amazing. That's, you know, and the few drills I've been to thus far, the SROs have been involved. And the 7 security staff are very well equipped to operate in what those drills are supposed to look like. So yeah, like I said, the foundation, you have a very strong foundation already, and I will reinforce that in my discussions with the community.
Well, that actually cues up the next agenda item, which is in fact, you know, it seems like the community prior to you coming on board had asked multiple times for an assessment. And I think some of the members of the board, certainly myself included, felt having someone like you come on board, that essentially is an assessment. We have somebody who's highly trained, former law enforcement, fresh set of eyes, no preconceived ideas, don't even really know some of the, you know, the issues that the community has brought up. So the next agenda item was to talk about, I guess, where you're at with your assessment. So I don't know if you have any feedback to share with us now.
So like I said, what is this, week 6 for me? I have,
Who's counting?
yeah,
Lisa's counting, but the other direction.
right. So yeah, you guys, listen, you have an amazing campus. You have amazing faculty and staff that are very passionate about all things security related. In my 5 weeks of discussions with, you know, going to safety team meetings, going to the drills, the 2 SROs are amazing. They are integrated into the schools. The mile of safety back and forth every day. You have a strong foundation of security. And logistically, the fact that you're isolated on one little campus is, I mean, you can't ask for a better framework that's already in place. So my vision for the district is to enhance and build upon the IT, if you will, that's already in place. Some of our IT systems, like the Vigilon camera system, can do a lot more for security. I come from a mindset of layered security, which builds in redundant systems. So if there's a failure along the way, then another system kicks in place. So I just started upgrading my security guard stations with new, you know, it's kind of the low hanging fruit, but I am a firm believer in, if you make the investment in your people, in training and equipment to do their jobs better, you are increasing their morale, giving them a sense of ownership, and empowering them to do a great job, which they're already doing. So we have new security monitors coming in for the guard stations. I've had several meetings with Vigilon, which is our platform that we have in place for the cameras, about adding and integrating more cameras. And the project I'm currently working on is integrating the senior center into Hurlbut, which is the same physical building, with just some more cameras that cover the parking lot. We have the fobs coming out that's already in place. I've had meetings with Town Hall, and I'm trying to strengthen that partnership with, I met with Carl, the town administrator. I've had several meetings with the chief of police. So building that trust and building that partnership is enhancing our layered security approach to this. So everyone's on the same page. We're all on board. Captain Michelli supports my vision, if you will. My plan is to get some formalized training for the guards. There's a NASRO class that I'm going to try and set up either over the summer or early in the fall. That is a school security officer. It's just formalized training. I think that's important to keep their professional development. What else? So the radio infrastructure project that has started and stopped several times. I met with Norcom, and we're going to be slowly moving forward with that. I had to breathe some new life into it. So, but I'm a guy that likes to get things done. I don't like to sit around and wait for an email for 3 weeks. So if I don't get a response, I start calling the boss. I go right to the top, and that's how I learned to get things done. So yeah, I think I'm excited. And I'm taking a very methodical approach and building on systems that you already have in place. For an example, the Avigilon system, excuse me, Motorola owns that. So Motorola radios have what they call a school security ecosystem that integrates with Avigilon, which is amazing technology. They all talk to each other. There's no issues. I've bounced this off of Dan DeVito with IT. It's exciting that our guards can have a portable radio that also shows camera views. Working on rolling out door alert systems that integrate with Avigilon. It's just an option that they offer. That will tell the guard, hey, the back door's been open for 10 seconds. It's just the tech, you have the platform for it. It's already here. It's just building on that platform in place and adding these little, not modifications, but you know, you buy a brand new car, you got to pay extra for the floor mats, similar to that. But it's good that the foundation's already been laid and everything that you have in place is working great. I just want to build upon it, enhance it, and really use the system to its full potential. There are other things, I mean, I could talk on and on and on, but that's kind of where I've started. I'm making the radios my priority only because I've learned that project has been stopped and started over the last 2 years. So I'm really trying to get that off the ground and get some legs back on it.
Yeah, just for the folks that don't know, Avigilon is essentially the software, the vendor, the software of the camera system, and Avigilon is a Motorola brand. And Motorola also is the manufacturer of the radios that I think we are upgrading to, and the police department utilizes and is upgrading their system as well, right? So when you talk about everything being on one platform, it's essentially, it's Motorola and their camera Avigilon.
Yeah, it's just, you know, why reinvent the wheel? You have the system in place, everything integrates seamlessly with each other. So I'm just trying to build on that platform.
Okay. All right. So I think the next item, Steve, did you have any questions?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Thanks. Okay. So then I think the next quick item is that Michael, it looks like, typically would try and do a spotlight each time we meet. We don't have one today, but I guess the concept there is things that are timely or, you know, of interest to the community. We can have a spotlight conversation. So we don't have that today, but it's something that we as a committee are going to be looking to do. And if anybody in the community has an area that they would like to see us spotlight, they should certainly reach out to Mike as the chair, and or Jim, Lisa, whomever, and we'd be happy to make that a future spotlight. Let's see, moving right on. Hold on a moment. All right, so I think that actually that also goes right to our next agenda item, which is discussions for future topics. So I don't know if Jim or Joe or Lisa, anybody, I see there's a couple of kind of generic headline topics, but if there's anything that you all have thinking about for future discussion.
I don't really have anything other than, you know, all the projects that I'm working on.
No, I do, David, and Mike, Michael, I do think our next meeting, we should review what we heard from the community in the two, you know, in the two community sessions.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So what we can do is, based on what the community shares with us, we can kind of reshare it at one of these meetings and then talk about things that they may have asked us to be thinking about.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, it's a really good idea. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah.
All right, so let me just make sure I've done justice to Michael's subcommittee. Let's see, I think just going through the agenda here. All right, just real quick. So outstanding safety and security topics, I think we just covered that. Trends in safety and security, we just talked a little bit about that. Capital budget, I'm not sure if there's any sort of update there. I happen to tune in to the Board of Finance meetings as it relates to the Board of Ed. And it seems like we're getting some funding, but there's been a commitment on the Board of Finance. If we don't get all the ask, we can come back with a special appropriation based on what Jim, you determine our needs are. So is that, I'm not sure if that's sort of an appropriate date. Yeah,
Yeah, that's fair.
that's fair. Okay. Yeah. All right. So then I think the last item on the agenda is our next scheduled meeting will be April 8th, same time, 8:30 a.m., same place on Zoom. And with that, can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
All right, thanks, everybody. We will see most of you, I guess, Thursday evening.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.